Well, hello, Parker here, and we're in a new decade now, which is totally crazy. Not that Yoshi on the Go is 30 years old, but we're spanning 3 decades now. 2000, I started 7/7/07, July 7th, 2007, and from there to 2010, that's obviously one decade. 2010 to 2020, or 2019 is another decade, and now it's 2020, so here's to 10 more years, I guess. But I wanted to take a moment to reflect on some of the highlights of my life the last 10 years. And for one, I graduated high school. That's always a big deal. It's a big accomplishment for all the youngins these days. Yeah, I don't know what else there is to say about that. One thing that I find really cool though is that a lot of my high school friends and middle school friends up in Seattle now have moved down here into the Salt Lake area, and we've been able to hang out still every couple of months, just have a little game night, which is crazy cool. But yeah, so I graduated high school. I got my first job, started working at Taco Time, which is still very delicious, by the way. The Taco Time in Seattle, though, is actually a different franchise. They have a slightly different menu than the regular Taco Times. And which, for your information, Taco Time is more of a West Coast brand. There's not too many Taco Times outside of the West Coast. But yeah, I got my first job, worked there for about 2 years, and then started working there again, the one over in Bellevue. And I got fired for, being late, so that sucks. But on a serious note, I got my first serious real camera, the Rebel T3i, 1080p. So this is 2011. The same year later on, I was able to upgrade my iPhone to the iPhone 11. So when this decade started, I was filming in like standard definition, like 480p. So 2011 brought 1080p HD to my video production skills, my home movies, my other video projects, and of course, YouTube. Wow, how fun. That's kind of a big deal, right? How technology changed. A couple things I forgot to mention is HDR photography. It was just a brand new thing that came to the iPhone, and here are a few of my first attempts. Very exciting, and I'm really glad that this caught on and was able to make its way to video as well. One other thing that I also forgot to mention is that I started working at Nintendo, and I had the opportunity to work at Nintendo for about 10 or 11 months, and that was really cool. I just worked at their distribution house in North Bend, Washington, basically filling out custom orders. I'd be cutting down the bigger pallets that would go out to bigger warehouses and fulfill custom orders of mom and pop shops all around America. And I got a pretty sick discount too on all Nintendo games. Gotta go help Dad.
I do?
Yes, I mean,
Well, where? What do I do?
Look.
I'm coming to get you. Are you ready? Oops. Are you dead?
I also had the opportunity to serve a mission for my church. I was gone for 2 years from basically 2013 to 2014. And so I missed out on a lot of games and videos. Missionaries aren't supposed to play video games and watch movies. That would defeat the purpose of serving a mission. So I had a lot to look forward to when I got back. I'm gonna make my favorite movies, favorite TV shows, and favorite video games of the decade in a separate video though. But yeah, that was a really good experience. Very uncomfortable. Knocking on doors and meeting new people and trying to just help them out in any way we can. Bringing Jesus to the people of Utah, of all places. So I'm living in Seattle. I get called to go to Utah. That's weird. Also, I started making short movies for my YouTube, which is awesome. You can see all the posters behind me. We've got Zombie Movie, House of White, CSI Utah, Homefront, and then more recently, Not Alone, and a couple of documentaries, Switchpoint and People of Utah. My latest video project, A Quiet Place fan film, is actually still being worked on, and that should be coming soon, maybe, hopefully. Another huge milestone, just last year I reached over 1,000 subscribers, and now, so what, that took me almost 10 and a half years to get to 1,000 subs, and then just a year later, 2,000 subs. Thanks guys. I guess I'm doing something right. And I don't really have a focus. That's the main problem with the growth of this channel, is that I just do a bunch of random stuff. Mostly like games and movies related, but all sorts of different things, technologies.
So you're like new here, right? Hey.
Okay, then,
She's talking about it. She knows, they know. Wow, she's super talented.
I don't think I single-handedly pioneered the unboxing genre on YouTube, but I was doing it way back in 2007, before it became popular. So you're welcome, internet, I guess. I will consider myself a pioneer in that genre. Not sure who the very first person to do that, but I definitely was among that first group, so I feel so special. I wish I kept doing that, because we see channels like What's Inside and Unbox Therapy and other things that are super crazy successful just for opening stuff up and doing reviews and things like that. And I wish I stuck with it, but so maybe I can do that more in the future, but I don't know, I'm really inconsistent with everything. Freaking ADHD, what am I gonna do about it? I don't know. So another thing, so I'm adopted. I don't know if you knew that, but yeah, totally adopted. And just when I was, I met my birth mom and her family. And that was an interesting experience. I still know them today. I was actually just hanging out with them a few weeks, just last week, I guess. But yeah, that's totally crazy. On both of my parents' side, including myself and 2 sisters, there are 26 of us. And then just my birth mom and her side, there's another additional 34. So I went from 26 cousins to 60. So she more than doubled my amount of cousins. Of which I now have aging from range of 3 weeks old, and my oldest cousin is like 65 or something like that. It's crazy, huge range of cousins. But that makes it fun. Family is fun most of the time. Started college. That's a pretty big deal. A logical next step for many people. And as part of that college experience, I was required to have an internship. And I found an internship with Fine Bros, or you may know them as the React channel, over in like the Burbank, California area. So I actually lived in California in 2017 with my cousins for about 4 months, maybe 4.5 months almost. And that was awesome. That was a really good experience to see, for the first time ever, my hobby, editing video. Who likes editing? No one. No, editing sucks. Like, but for some reason I like it. Like, it's just therapeutic or whatever, and I have the patience for it. Editing's great. So that was a really cool experience, mainly just because I was able to see how whole teams of people, how they all come together and use their skills to create products at a very high production value at a very high rate, and that was thrilling. Also, I bought a car, which is cool, and I fully paid it off, which is extra cool. That's always a big deal, that first step of getting a car and then also totally paying it off. Not, very, very few people can do that, so I'm very lucky that I've had a good job and good circumstances that allowed me to buy my own car by myself and then pay it off. It's just really neat. So iPhone 8 Plus, the camera I'm filming with right now, took all of my media content to the next level again in 4K. Not just 4K, but 4K 60. That's crazy. 60 frames per second. So buttery smooth. Wow. Oh, I had the opportunity to go to Europe. My parents were living in Europe for a few years, also doing some missionary work, helping financial aid, things like that. And I got to tour around Europe, like Slovenia, Croatia, and Italy. And I actually have some pretty cool vlogs that, if you haven't seen them yet, you should check them out. Only if you have time though. Watching all the vlogs all together takes like 2.5 hours. There's a lot to look at, and it's just really gorgeous out there. So yeah, going to Europe, I never really thought I'd ever do that. Like, I've been traveling before. I've been to New York and the East Coast. I've been to Hawaii. I've been to Canada and Mexico. But pretty much I just stay on the West Coast. And so going somewhere so far away is pretty bonkers crazy.
Dark Knight Rises, Dark Knight Rises, Dark Knight Rises. Please, please, please.
Please, please, please.
If you make yourself more.
Cool. And then just last year, 2019 was a big year, probably the biggest year out of the bunch. I was able to graduate college, finally. It only took me like, what, 7 years or something? That's crazy. I got my first job post-college, which is where I'm working at right now, a news station, a morning news video editor at the local news station. And then I moved into my first apartment, which is where we're at right here. We should do an apartment tour. I went from being a non-working high school student to a working, graduated, double graduated, I guess, high school and college, car owning, mission serving, YouTube movie making person. So that's not bad. Yeah. And then one other bonus, steelbooks kind of became a thing. I think they were kind of a special edition type of thing in the 2000s, but they really took off, and I really became obsessed with collecting steelbooks in the 2010s. 20 teens, right?